Whoa, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on back inside the BTS warehouse for yet another wonderful edition of Movie Buffed. A very special episode for the real outliers, the real sweaty nerds of movies. Because we got a movie that you may not have heard of. It's Chicago Rot.
Yeah.
I'm here with, of course, none other than the young Lord Dan, the Jarian himself, our content director and lead. And we have a very special guest, his good buddy and pal, Ryan, a.k.a. the Trainwreck.
Trainwreck.
What's going on, man?
What's happening?
All right, so, Dan, why are we doing Chicago
Okay,
Rot?
all right, I'll get into
Of course,
this. Okay.
We're doing a movie or something called Chicago Blank with you involved, but why Chicago Rot?
Okay, so number one, Ryan's obviously a very good friend of mine. This movie is a super true Chicago movie, and it's a really cool story of independent filmmaking in the modern era and what it means to like be a small guy trying to do something for yourself. Because these guys really did all this themselves, and it was super bootstrapped, which is really cool.
So when you say these guys, I know you're talking about Ryan and his group. How big is this group of people that are on this project?
I mean, Ryan can tell you specifics, but the core team, from my perspective, is Dorian, who's the director. You have Brant, and he co-wrote it with Brant, and then Sam Fell, who did all of the audio, and then Ryan, who's the DP. And
what's that? I mean, maybe
director. Yeah, I'm like talking all over.
He's a great man, but he doesn't speak.
So yeah, okay. All right. So explain the core crew, right?
Yeah, I guess you pretty much named it there, and then there's Jeremy, our producer. Did you say that? Bobby,
Jeremy, I didn't say Jeremy.
Director.
That's of course Jeremy, Bobby. Yeah.
Kelly, our executive producer. I guess. I guess at first it was, it was a pretty small group of people. We're all kind of friends from film school, and we're just kind of had a lot of the same interests, and I think we all just really wanted to get have a project of our own.
So was it one guy who was like, Chicago Rot, I have the script, or like, how does it begin? Does someone I had an idea for a story, let's get the gang back together?
It was Brant. He'd been writing the story for I think a few years, or had it kind of in his pocket, and had brought it to Dorian, and he's kind of started to develop more of the script, because I don't think it was quite a feature at that point, and I think those two kind of put their heads together, and just really got the ball rolling.
Nice.
While we're talking about this production, we got young Kevin and Nate back there. If we could throw up in the background, there is a crew interview video, and this is from way back. And I just want to show it because it just shows. Look at young Ryan. Look at young Ryan there.
Is that Ryan?
Okay, so there's Jeremy. We can kind of introduce something. That's Sam.
These are real people.
These are real people, guys. So this is
human.
the crew. There's Dorian on the left. He's the director. That's Jeremy. And then I'm trying to get a Brant shot here so we can show him. There's Brant. He's also the lead actor in the movie.
I was
you
going to
may
say.
have noticed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he wrote and led the acting. He's a god.
Okay.
And he did a tremendous amount of the production design.
Do you know? So why did it have to be him? Was he like, I wrote this for me to do it, or was he like, no one can seem to fit the part in my mind, so I must step up?
I think there was been a little debate on that, but I think kind of towards the end, he's just like, well, I know the character, I know the story.
Beardless bitch.
Can you pause that for 1 second? I'm sorry. Look at how handsome he looks. Holy shit.
So
oh my
youthful
god.
and jubilant.
Dude, yeah, you look okay, this is Ryan before shooting a movie. Look how young how old are you when this started?
I was probably like 22, but when we were shooting I was 23, and I'm 30 now. So.
And you're 30 now.
Yeah, it took a minute.
Wow, okay, math.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yo, sick, right?
Yeah,
look
okay,
at that,
cool.
man. Holy shit. Look at that. That's incredible.
And you guys just look like normal dudes that may have just went to like a film school or class, and it looks so ordinary, but then, to watch the film, it's like, oh, good shit.
Yeah, okay, so the beginnings are like really cool. You can keep playing that. I don't want to look at Ryan's pretty face anymore. I want his new face. How does it turn? Because that's something I think when you're in film school, especially, or you're surrounded by people that want to do a project, like starting a project, getting it off the ground is the hardest part. Because everybody just wants to talk about doing shit. But you guys actually did something. Like, how did that turn from talking about it to actually doing something?
I think it was a little bit interesting time because Kickstarter, the platform Kickstarter just came out, and I think maybe
Okay.
Indiegogo was just around then. But I think at the time, like Kickstarter, I think as far as what was like on our minds, like it was like the only other option besides like getting, someone to.
Mafia grandfather to fucking invest
Yeah,
in your crazy
yeah,
film
yeah.
or some shit. So how convenient. So I actually was curious. All right, you guys got all together, but you're using some insane equipment and shit. You had to have had a budget and all that. So is that where it came from?
Well, we had made some money through Kickstarter. Then we also had a backer who was also gonna match what we raised on Kickstarter, and then along the way we've also had to take on like other investors. But really, I mean, the movie is still ultra low budget. We did also have some help from local camera houses. Fletcher Camera helped us out a lot. Ryan Oliver, kind of helped us get in contact with everyone there. He was also on our makeup team.
Excuse me.
So we were able to secure stuff like lenses and like recording equipment and just like a lot of the odds and ends for cameras that kind of add up.
Dude, it was like, I feel like I remember when the Kickstarter happened, you guys raised $25,871 to be exact. And I thought it was like the craziest thing ever. It was like, holy shit, somebody from Chicago. Because we had like when the Kickstarter actually happened, we hadn't even really been hanging out at that point. We met like right after.
Yeah.
We met right after. But I knew about the Kickstarter. I was like, holy shit, Ryan's making he makes a
How
real
were they
movie.
like pitching it? Was it just like, we have a story?
I can show you.
I was gonna curious because it's like we want to make a movie. Send us some money, or is it like Chicago Rot? Breaking it down like this could be a thing with your help.
So I have a video that we can show, and Ryan can maybe intro it a little bit better. But basically, and this is from my understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, you guys made a proof of concept, and then you had like an interview with Brant and Dorian for the actual Kickstarter video, which is like kind of more traditional what you see, where they're kind of explaining, hey, this is what we want to do. This is why we think it's important to do it independent and to like help raise money from the people so we can do what we want. But the proof of concept video is in the videos, and I believe it's labeled like Kickstarter video. But we're just going to watch the beginning part up until they get into the interviews, and then you can switch it onto the back.
Local vigilante has Chicago. Powerful drug lords in the city is found mutilated, murdered.
An urban legend. The guru has been a staple of evening news reports since first appearing 20-some years ago. However, one fact has kept him from being a saint of the gutters, providing the kind of justice our hamstrung police department can only promise, while others fear him as the scourge of the city. Pundits on both sides of the argument. The ghoul's grisly calling card. A small patch of skin torn from each of his victims.
Standing at the scene of a baffling and horrific crime, most likely perpetrated by the murderer locals have dubbed the Ghoul.
That old logo.
Yo, bro, that's rad. Take $50.
Yeah. Exactly. So they show off that concept, and then these two gentlemen basically talk about how this is what we want, this is what we need, and can you help?
Yeah,
This is
that's
our
crazy.
vision.
So that's like the message you want to put out there. It's like super like, not for the weak.
Yeah.
Like this is gross. Like
Yeah.
this is going to be an intense fucking film. Like get on this if you want to see something that really pushes the line, pushes the boundaries.
I always loved these
Makes
shots.
you a big wheezy.
These there's like some super Chicago shots, and that's the thing about this movie is that Chicago is a character in the movie. Okay, so you guys get the money, then what happens? Because suddenly now you're like you have to answer to people. Do you start production right away? Like, how much time happens in between getting that money and starting shooting?
It was really just kind of like. I guess I don't really know the exact timeline, but I know that that's when we really started ramping up pre-production, because the whole entire time during the Kickstarter, we were kind of doing like all the legwork as far as like planning out the scenes or kind of like ballparking a lot of the figures or what we'd need to do, and just kind of moving along as if it was happening. Because I think for all of us, like we wanted it so bad that like even just thinking like this project wasn't going to happen was going to be like crushing. Like we
All
just
right.
wanted it so bad. So I think we were just kind of like the whole time in our heads.
We're just
At
gonna
least
make
for
it
me,
happen.
where I'm just like, yep, this is happening, and whatever needs to happen, we'll just go along. So I think it really just kicked a lot of the things we were doing up into high gear, and just even the final product of the Kickstarter video was really the first time this crew got to work together on in this kind of capacity. So like it also was kind of like confidence boost, and also like
Yeah, because
proving.
you probably finished and you're like, that felt great, looks good.
Yeah,
I
'cause
wanna
that
do-
shit
I
looks
wanna
fucking
do, I want
cool.
to do a whole film now, you know?
Yeah, and then also like since we were all like fresh out of film school, we didn't really have, you know, a ton of projects underneath our belt to show people like that we could do what we were, you know, saying we were gonna do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all had like films, and like, you know, not to say that anyone's like short films, I guess weren't similar, weren't up to caliber. It's just yeah, we were just new, so we just kind of had to prove ourselves.
You want to
And
get
the idea,
your sink your
Fucking noobs,
teeth
dude.
into a sick project, not get out of the ballpark, and then be able to have that on your resume moving forward, being like, I did this shit, and it looks good.
Gosh, yeah, I love how this whole thing captures so much the vibe before you shot anything else. It's crazy. Like this captures the vibe of the entire movie.
That logistical budget planning must have been so intense.
Yeah,
like,
what a
'cause
fucking
now
nightmare.
after watching the movie and thinking like, you know, there's all those like common types of scenes that most people take for granted when they watch these big Hollywood movies, when you have to like rent out the street or do these like car chasing moments or whatever, and you have to incorporate all the logistics with that. Like I can't imagine when you're trying to make a proposal for, we're gonna need this much money, like let alone the whole like the first big scene of the movie, like when she's playing the piano and the truck and all that. I feel like was just had to be super intense.
Yeah, the title sequence, which we can actually show, we have it. The title sequence for this movie is super sick, and it was actually shot after the rest of the movie was shot, correct? I'm trying to remember.
yeah, I think this was like, we might have had a couple pickups. It was basically the biggest, like the last big production day.
Yeah, you guys had a couple of little random things, because I remember, first off, it was also shot at a very strange time of year to do something like this. It was like freezing cold, but I want to watch the...
May I step over your movement forward with my little note here? And I want to say, because up to this point, so people who are still tuning in, if you don't already know, we're talking about
We should watch trailer.
Chicago Ride. Yeah, we could peek at the trailer, the real deal trailer, and then at that point you can decide if you'd like to actually go scope it out. And you know, we should let them know where they can watch it if they'd like,
Good call.
because this isn't something like you may find on Netflix or you know, your common just easy to access platform or HBO or something.
So
like that.
you can buy it or rent it right now on Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, and Steam, actually. So you just hop right into Steam browser, grab it from there. I own it on Steam, and I also have the Google Play version, which we watched last night.
Yep.
Get it anywhere. Get it now. If you don't want to see it, excuse me, if you don't want to get spoiled, we are going to be spoiling heavily what happens, and this is a movie that I guarantee you don't want to get spoiled. So watch it, come back, finish the episode, but here's your like last opportunity. Let's watch the trailer.
Yep.
And you can decide for yourself if you want to
Exactly.
do it.
Good shit. Let's
Yeah.
check it out.
I met Les when we were kids. He had a whole family of runaways that he looked after. He told us that he was searching for his soul. It brought us together, gave us purpose. We needed him.
Simmons, I just got a call about a van full of corpses outside of Joliet.
The ghoul? Right. I'm on my way. This piece of shit murdered my partner. Now he's gonna pay.
Was definitely here. Left behind 4 bodies, 2 shots, 1 pistol, and a trail of his own blood a half-mile long.
I'll find him.
Let's just leave. Start fresh somewhere. Isn't that what she would have wanted?
If I don't get him, how's that feel? He's gonna get me. And you. And that's why I'm ending this tonight.
You want to get back at this asshole? The one that killed your mom? Stole your soul? This is the perfect opportunity. Or now. Hit him hard.
is coming for me. Release the Berserker. Get me out!
Oh man, so as you could probably gauge on that trailer, like super intense, violent, gory, a thriller, and there is a lot, I mean, happening in that trailer, but there's a lot that happens in this movie that you have even no idea.
No, it's totally crazy.
There's a whole other like realm to this movie yet to be explored. I know this is probably real outside of the box for what most people probably feel comfortable with when they watch their kind of movies. But if you're an enthusiast for this kind of a thing, I really recommend you check it out just to like kind of go on that journey and then come back this direction, because you're going to get a really interesting perspective that you're not going to get on these kind of, you know, films, these newer films that are not, you know, Hollywood or whatever, but they get these opportunities to just go really crazy. And now we can ask these questions.
Totally. Yeah. And I think it's interesting you mentioned how many, like, first off, it spills into like 8 genres. The entire movie. Yeah, okay, by the way, if you want out now, you want to watch it, we're going to start spoiling it right away just by describing what the movie is and what genres it is. Because from that, it's like, oh, this is like a revenge thriller, which it is.
Yeah, it looks like Violent 7 or some shit.
Yeah, but then there's some other things, and you're like, what is that weird thing with the hands in the trunk? And like, what is he fighting? And what is happening? So they start, the trailer just kind of like pinches you a little bit and tells you just a little bit that there's something else going on here. And I want to read the way that it's described by Chicago Rot itself is a Chicago independent rock and roll supernatural horror thriller feature film. Okay? And by the director himself, Dorian, a clusterfuck of a movie.
I think that fits it wonderfully after what we watched last night.
It's
yeah,
great. Like,
it's
how would
all
you,
of those things.
How would you describe this movie to somebody if you're just trying to not spoil anything and just describe it?
Violent, gory rock opera thriller. Like, it really is what it feels like with sci-fi.
Yeah, the sci-fi.
Yeah.
You just got to.
When you said sci-fi, I'm like, sci-fi, and then I'm like, sci-fi. There's sci-fi in it for sure. There's fucking like straight up.
There's like supernatural sci-fi.
Alien sci-fi shit happening.
How do you describe it to people?
I tried not to keep it complicated, but I guess without giving too much, I just say revenge thriller with some sci-fi elements. So
makes sense.
And it,
but
yeah,
then the rock shit really will catch him off guard. I'll tell you what,
dude. That's the other thing. So Sam Fell did all the sound design from this movie and the music, along with Brant
McCrae and Joe Scott.
Yes. Excuse me. Yeah. He
behind like the music or composing of the score.
But it's like an entire piece of the movie. And I actually super recommend. So when I was going over this for Clips a Day, I was watching it with headphones on, and it is such a awesome experience because the music is so good. And they just released like a couple weeks ago the soundtrack for the movie, which you can stream or buy. You can buy it right now on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon Prime specifically, and on Spotify as well as iTunes. So if you want to, you can look it up. I believe it's just like Chicago Rot original soundtrack, but it's the Hubcap Alliance, Hubcap Man Alliance.
Yeah, Hubcap Man Alliance is the group, I believe.
Right, is the group that did the score for it.
Yeah,
so
there were definitely two banging songs I liked. I took away. One of them was like, I think the last score for like one of the last moments of the movie, I want to say.
Yeah, that's what I watched. So basically,
there were definitely some intense,
the
like,
crazy
moments.
finale scene,
which
which is just like amazing. The sound is amazing in that scene. Okay, so the movie's fucking insane. It's difficult to describe because it is not conventional.
Yeah, and we were very inebriated when we watched it as well, which may fit the movie best. It was just like an experience. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, walk us through the breadcrumbs as we trail on back.
Well, okay, we can get in. I wanted to talk about like all your questions, but I also wanted to talk about the process of making the film and some of these cooler sequences.
Yeah.
Specifically the title sequence, which I think is really, really cool.
yeah, that deserves its own bit of praise and attention for sure.
And it's actually like a super next level chess move in terms of like the storytelling of the movie, because it's telling you something without telling you something, because you have to watch it, I feel like, multiple times to really understand what the hell is going on in some of these scenes, especially that, because they're very abstract ideas. And then like later it ties in and you might pick up on it, but you might not even realize it. But let's watch kind of like, I don't know, 30 seconds of the intro sequence, and then you can throw it on the back screen and we can talk about what it was like to make that, because it's really, really fucking cool, and it's a cool story as well, because I remember when it happened.
Ready and action.
JoJo Baby. We gotta talk about JoJo Baby.
JoJo Baby. So this is pretty intense.
Okay, yeah, this is crazy.
So yeah, what the podcasters may not be seeing is the performance you're hearing is by a woman who's playing a piano on the back of a bed of a truck that is going down the highway.
Yeah.
Full speed, like full freeway speed, and she's just in there playing the piano and singing along.
And if you can see it, I know Mike Poe, Chicago boy, he's going to recognize that is Lakeshore Drive. That is not just like an expressway. That is like the road in Chicago. It goes between the city and the lake.
Chicago so much.
Dude,
You're like, I know this is the road. I don't even know what the road is in Sacramento. Can somebody tell me the road of Sacramento or even the road of LA?
Bro, it just means, well, basically
like,
what it means is that it's a crazy feat to be able to do what they did to film on it. So this is this is all real.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a woman on back of a truck, and she is singing and playing piano as a bunch of people are famous. So Ryan, how the fuck did you do this?
How did you do this? You had to shut down the fucking road? Is she strapped into the truck? Like, get into this shit.
Yeah, so, yeah, a number of things. She is strapped in there. I guess it's part of the design of the dress, actually. They were actually able to build kind of like a harness, like, and chain kind of into the bed of the truck.
It seems like even if I was to do that, like with a seatbelt and a chain, let's say that was just welded into the truck, I couldn't help but still feel like this was very dangerous in some way. I don't know why. It's just like,
how was she? Because if I stick my head out of the window,
she?
I'm like creeped out, you know?
I mean, she was killing it. I mean, I'm sure it was not fun at all. I guess it was really cold outside, and yeah, we were.
How long was she stuck doing this? Like, was it takes? Like, did you take a break, get back into it? Were you just driving until you got it?
Yeah, that was pretty much real time. So each take was like, but I guess it's even longer than the take because we had to get off the exit, unstrap from the truck and get inside. So it's probably anywhere like 15, 20 minutes maybe at a time.
How long did you like have to buy out the fucking road or that freeway or the fucking glorious Chicago ground or whatever it is?
I think it was a few hours. The Chicago Film Office was actually really instrumental in helping us out. They're kind of just like an institution that's there to just help, any film, not just films like ours, but just, kind of, get what they need done.
Yeah.
So they were able to kind of like help us talk with the police and
that's crazy because I
parks.
can't imagine. I don't mean to like step on front, but it's like I want to make a movie, and it's like, but to make this scene happen, I need like the full fucking highway. Like, who would I fucking go to? Who do I email? Like, hello, MrRoad.com. Can I borrow one of these? Like, how do you even approach that? So it's great to hear, but I'm also not surprised there is people or establishments that are available for that kind of window. That's crazy though.
These behind the scene shots are fucking sick. And what you'll notice though is that
shit,
everybody else who is doing in this is wearing gigantic puffy jackets because this is Chicago winter and it's fucking freezing, and she's up there in this little dress, like with the full wind hitting her, like going 60.
And they get some close-up shots, and she's not like teeth chattering, her face isn't like quivering, she's not like shaking. Like you can tell that she has to like either get into the zone, meditate it off, or just when the camera goes, it's just, oh, you got to play it off, you know?
Yeah.
That's an actor. That's some good shit right there.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Good shit. That's a chef's kiss of an opening for a title for sure.
And how many people shot this?
This scene?
Like, how many units do you have just getting coverage for this?
It was just, you can see me here. And we had, I guess there were 2 different days. We shot one day with the car and with all the rigs that you saw on it earlier, and a foul car. And then we had like another day where we had like crew set up on the bridge. So we had one at the McCormick Place overpass, which is like the last shot you see right before the Chicago Rot like title comes up, on a jib. And then we had like another camera on a slider. I think you can see in some of these pictures.
There's everywhere.
But yeah, we kind of just planted cameras at each overpass leading up till you pass McCormick Place, which is when the city kind of really opens up, and you can kind of see like, you know, all the main downtown area. Yeah, you can see the jib right there.
Jib,
so
dude.
we were able to get like that shot that's pointed straight down at the ground and kind of.
That's insane that you're just hanging that over the fucking freeway. That's
yeah. Is there any sense of like exhilaration when you're like on the freeway that's closed down for your set and you're like doing all this shit?
Well, we actually didn't have everything closed off, but we did have a police escort, so we were able to kind of keep cars from getting close or kind of going through the shot. You can kind of see here, like we did the foul car, or like this one was the tracking car where we had a minivan that was open, and I had like a mini gyro in my lap with the camera on it, and we were able to just like keep cars from passing through. So
and you're strapped in too, right?
I have a seatbelt.
Nice.
Maybe something else.
They're like, yeah, you're fine, but the camera on your lap, though, we got to make sure it's strapped in.
I mean,
that's
I don't
worth
think
more than you, sir.
I don't think I was. I was braced in pretty good, I guess. I don't think there was a point where I was really worried about that. I think it was mostly like outside factors, like, driving errors.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's crazy. This is so intimidating to even think about organizing something like this.
Who owned the truck? Did you have to rent the truck? Who owned that nice old truck?
British Billy is the guy who owns
who is
that
it?
truck. Friend of ours, British Billy.
British Billy, that son of a gun.
Yeah, one of Brant's friends. I guess all of his friends have like cool nicknames.
Brant has the most eclectic. Brant is like a guy who was like bred in the nightlife scene. He's like a fucking doorman at all the crazy places in Chicago, so everybody knows him, and like he knows just
the who's who.
All these crazy people, like him, and then JoJo Baby, and all these fucking people who helped out in this film. Okay, so that is a hard scene to shoot. There was a lot of him. What for you was like the most challenging scene to deal with?
Yeah.
Like how, because for me that is just scary. There's so many factors you have to account in for. You're working with the film office. There's a lot of safety concerns. There's weird weather conditions, and then you have to get crazy amount of coverage, make sure you're on top of everything. But what for you was like pushing your limits of like, I mean, you're a kid. You're fucking 23, and you're DPing this movie. Like, what was for you like, oh, fuck, I don't know if I can do this?
I guess like I was saying earlier, I think there was like no way that I thought that we couldn't do it. But I guess, yeah, there were days that were just like, that were sort of daunting. I guess one of them that stands out is we shot a scene at the Liars Club with like a full concert going on, a ton of extras. And it was also the first day that we were going to get our lighting package. I guess with how much money we had, we weren't able to have necessarily our big lighting package for for some of these bigger scenes, like the entire production. So we really had to schedule it out and block them together. So when we first started shooting, we had like a few small kits of lights, and we were pretty limited, which I guess was kind of good and bad. Look, there wasn't, I don't know, we planned around to not have a lot to set up, but then also certain moments where you're like, oh, I wish I had this one.
Where were you getting all your lights from in the beginning before you got the grip truck? Were you just like taking them from the film school, or were you borrowing them, or just
borrowing them? Yeah, different crew members. We also had Flashpoint Academy, our film school. I think they helped us out with some. But yeah, we had pretty minimal gear to work with. And then also I also needed to get a Class C driver's license and insurance, and that getting that process going, and I guess finding a place that would kind of work with us also on some prices, which was Second Cine out of Chicago.
Are they around anymore?
Yeah.
They still around?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think they do like a lot of like lighting and provide truck packages for like a lot of Chicago projects. But yeah, Tom Skura was really cool. He's the guy who runs it, or it's like that's his business. But he was really cool and worked with me, kind of like teaching me the truck, and then also took me with the truck to get my license the morning of the shoot. I guess we had been planning that earlier in that week to do it when he was free and also when I was free. But the DMV, I think just for whatever reason, there were it was just full, so we couldn't get a test until the morning of the shoot. So me and Bobby Navi, our
you
AD,
couldn't fail either.
drove out there on the morning of the shoot.
Oh, don't fail. Otherwise,
yeah,
we're kind of screwed. Oh,
I mean,
man.
I'd been studying, but that was like the most nerve-wracking thing. I'm like, man, even if something little happens, like I don't have the truck, we don't have the scene, so like.
And there were so many people involved in that. We can throw this clip in the background. I actually have it because it's a really interesting scene because it's intercutting like three storylines. There's the bus, there's the cop at the wiener stand, and then there is the Liars Club. I'm trying to remember what I titled it, but yeah. So this is the scene he's talking about, where there's just a crazy amount of stuff going on.
I love the scene where he's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna fucking kill it, and
I'm gonna fucking kill it.
He starts booking it out for it. That was pretty intense and cool. I like that. And then there's that fucking weirdo guy with his crazy pet.
No. You know, we're gonna talk about it. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So I don't even know. So this is all again. There's like so many like little local legends. The guy driving the bus. Who is he?
That's Ken. He does the Weird Chicago tour. So like a lot of like the haunted.
Oh, that's cool.
Like tours
so this
around
bus
Chicago.
is like a real experience.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
And they're all drinking Malort, which is the Chicago liqueur of choice. Like it's the
most fucking Chicago movie ever. They're squirting down deep dishes. This guy's eating the dish.
He's got a hot dog.
Fucking Chicago dog on the cab right here.
And then they're also drinking Zombie Dust, which is a Three Floyds brew, which is a Chicagoland brewery. If you're a beer nerd, you know them for their Dark Lord or for Zombie Dust or for a couple other cool things that they do. And then Liars Club is like a fucking... It's like a dirty man underground venue. It's like real small and like local cool shit always happening there.
Up and coming bands play there and shit.
Yeah, there's the Malort. Malort.
Kiss memorabilia all over the place. I really like that.
Okay,
yeah, it's
cool.
Ryan's shit.
Yeah.
The first 2 years I knew Ryan, he just wore one Kiss shirt every day.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so this shit is crazy and scary. Like imagine just dealing with all these people. You just have to get everybody and to drink. Were they actually drinking?
Yeah.
Was everybody like fucked up and wild? Was that like, how did you even deal with that?
Kind of have to.
We gotta do it again.
That was actually
Cheers.
Adam
Make it
Mormon
going.
was our second unit DP on this day. So he was the one going around the bus, and I was back at the venue, and we were doing like lighting and some of the camera rehearsals for the section you're about to see, where they run through the crowd. So.
Yeah, this is nuts.
It was definitely a party, like trying to like work out and shoot these scenes like in a party. But I think it definitely added to the atmosphere, I guess, of the scene. But Yeah, I think that was more an intense day for me as far as like nerves or like what you said, like, oh, can I do this? But it was just like I don't know.
There's just
just
so
really
many-
intense moments with moving parts and like coming from a lot of the projects.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of elements that are not really under your control. So you just have to hope everything kind of just goes well.
Ooh, so there's some crazy shit in here.
Suddenly,
this movie just takes turns.
Just like,
So I want to know what you think. Okay, so you know nothing going into this movie.
Yeah.
We're watching it, and the first big crazy scene, which I don't have a clip of, but is suddenly he goes into what is, I believe, Berlin. He goes into Berlin. Is that around there? And then they go into like an underground fight scene, which they pass through a couple dimensions to do so. What is going through your head when suddenly the movie takes this crazy
It's just like,
turn?
I knew right away the dude is like superhuman or not human or something, like clearly can't die or some shit. So I don't know. It's just like he's going into his people or something like that. It's like some sort of connection to who he is, and like I guess the crazier it gets, it's like that's just his crazy ass background of who he is as a person or something. But I went all over the place. It became like Mystery Science Theater almost at some point. It was like, whoa, what? And then they got this like crazy get up. I don't know. It was. It jumped genres real fast.
Real quick.
Real
and there's
fast.
crazy props and all this kind of shit. And Brant did almost all of that, correct?
Yeah, like all the Hubcap men, I guess is what their name, but I think you kind of saw the costume with the LED lights that we showed the picture
I
of
saw the
earlier.
fucking hubcap thing for sure.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
Yeah, so the
Pretty
guy
rad.
who wrote, stars in, also, ooh, look at that frame, that's so crazy. Also designed like all these crazy props and all this shit, which I love because it reminds me of all the movies that I really like, where it's like everything is practical. Although there's some scenes where there's heavily special effects stuff, which is how I was also incorporating the film. So I helped with this movie a little bit. There's two scenes I did, right?
Okay.
One that I did like all like me is a special effects scene, which I can show in a second.
Ooh.
And then there is another one. wait, hold on. This picture.
Choice
my dad,
steps you
real
got
quick.
here, Dan.
That I forgot about that one. Wait, can you go back to the last one? I'm sorry, I don't know if you can. That is Ryan's dad in
Not
this
this.
scene. Not this, not this, not this. We might not be able to. The slideshow's a little weird. But that is what this movie is about, pulling people you know in to help you. Like your dad's in a scene. Okay, hey, you can come and like Hollywood these lights. All right, hey, I need somebody to help out with whatever. Can you make this? Can you do that? That's like what a low budget indie film has to do. So you hit up me. And also the intro titles, my brother and his wife did those for the title sequence. Dave and Laura, two wonderful people, talented people as well. But it was like, I felt like so many people just wanted to help you guys. There he is on the right. That's Ryan's dad.
That's
Not
funny.
that one.
Got Dodie and Toy in there too.
Dodie and
Shout
Toy,
out.
what's up,
I
dude?
think they're in the Philippines.
Lots
right now.
of Chicago local heroes, I guess, like you're saying. It's like a mom and pop shop movie.
Yeah, it's like everybody and their cousin, you know? And so my scene is one where it was really scary because it's when the movie goes totally like into space, literally into space. Because you had the gladiator scene, which is pretty crazy, which looks sick, by the way. The guy who did that did an amazing job because I remember Dorian tossed me that scene. I was like, I don't want to touch this. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I was like, I can't fucking do it. I'm not that good. I can't make
It
this
looked
thing
like,
good.
like a really crazy, violent, dark, twisted version of like the Coneheads fight when he has to fight the Down for the Garth.
Yeah,
that whole
dude.
scene.
It reminds me
of
of
that
like
whole moment.
that and Labyrinth, like mixed together, you know?
Yeah.
Like it had all these like cool vibes of like all these like dark 80s movies. But there is Dan's scene, I believe is what the clip is called, which we can see where I got to play in this movie. Because I want to make this about me, guys.
Yeah, do it.
Well, we got a corpse upstairs burnt to shit. And according to these two guys, a ghost did it.
Kind of reminds you of Fatback, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your theory? What do you think happened?
Too hungry to really care, actually. Besides, aren't theories your job, detective?
Oh shit. It's getting fucking weird. Suddenly it's Avengers. Oh, and Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
I kept thinking it was like a phone booth or some shit at times. I feel like this is gnarly.
Okay, so that was scary as fuck
So
to have to
where
make
the
that.
fuck are they? Like
So
Planet
that is a
X?
space prison.
Space prison.
That is
okay.
a space prison. And so the blast you see is them transporting from the fight scene. They come, remember, and they bring him, and they take him to the space prison where the other guy is, and they're going to swap his body, right? They're going to swap him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. And so originally there was supposed to be like a wormhole sequence where it goes from this shot, which I always laugh at this scene. It's always very funny. It goes from wormhole sequence that, and I pitched this to Dorian to do this like dark asteroid reveal, and I'm actually super happy with how this shot came out. But I was so scared, dude. I was so scared of doing this. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fuck up their movie so much. Like, I'm not that great at any of this stuff, but we put this together, and I mean, I like how it looks now.
Yeah,
now that I'm watching it, I like how it looks.
It's gnarly.
But it was crazy, and that's what that. So then the other scene I did was a real practical effect where we had to squish a head, and I was literally just on set, and it's the scene where he is crushing the berserker's head on the ground. We can't show it; it's a little too gory for Twitch, but they had done a couple of different versions of it, and they could never get it quite right.
Yeah, that was really tough.
So explain, if you want to crush a head, there's a million ways to do it.
Which berserker? The one where he takes the head off eventually, or the little crazy
That's
guy?
JoJo Baby, by the way. That's JoJo Baby. Legend.
JoJo Baby.
That's what JoJo Baby's like all the time, though. That's what's crazy.
Okay.
It's not like just the character in the movie.
Some
Like that's
Chicago
what he's like all the
crazy
time.
local legend.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
right.
so so the scene where the berserker is in the alley and he's just, what is his name? What? Wait, they've just gotten. He killed the girl.
Yeah, and then he goes just,
yeah.
That was intense. He's just like, when he comes and he sees like, oh, you took out my lady, and he just sees who did it. Just the instant gratification, like, okay, I'm gonna fucking crush your head now, and it's done. It was just
The head exploding is shot in an entirely different location. The cut in on it. It's at the back of the rot shop. So the rot shop is actually right next to my house now. It's where they built all their shit and did all this stuff. But how many versions? Talk about the exploding head, what it takes to make an exploding head.
I guess
crazy.
I mean, I was just there to shoot and light it, but I guess I can't really speak to a lot of the technical stuff of crushing the head. But I know it's just getting the weight of everything right, and along with just getting something to crush like you think bones would, I guess was really like the hardest part. Like there were definitely like a first version where, you know, it crushed too easy, or maybe
that doesn't seem to have the density of a human skull.
Yeah,
crushed.
Or the skin might have seemed too elastic. I feel like there's like a lot of things that can be tells for stuff like that.
Too fake looking, yeah.
And then there was the blood squirting. I know I was talking to Berena about how at one point it was like they used compressed air to like squirt the blood when he crushes the head, blood's got to come out. They had it where it was just like inside and it just came out. And the version that we did, and what I actually did on that set was they had wired a bunch of pipes into this fake crushed head, and all of us sat on standby with the pipe in our nose and a bunch of fake blood in there. And as like when they called it, and we all and then like pushed the blood through and shot it out of its head. Yeah, which was really fun. It was just
crazy.
a really fun, silly shoot to just like be a part of. It was really cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How many heads had to get crushed? So did you know?
I want to say at least 4.
Yeah, I feel like ours was version 3 or something.
Or maybe we had two. We had version 1 and 2 on the same day, and then we had 3rd and 4th. But yeah, that was a really challenging effect. Say a lot of the gore was pretty challenging.
I bet. I was getting ready to ask, like, are there any of these scenes where like some gory shit happens and the actors get drenched and you're like, well, we gotta do it again, then you clean them all off and you do it again and they get all drenched again, or is that's part of the secret why he's just always bloody? It's just like, I'll just keep getting blood on him. It's fine. He's always bloody.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like a lot of there was a lot of resetting, and if you had to reset, it was not a quick process.
Yeah, I bet.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if we have any behind the scenes, but there are definitely days where like the whole crew is wearing like those painters like blue outfits, and then we have all the cameras and everything like just wrapped in plastic,
ready for blood.
But yeah, a lot of those makeup effects and blood effects were like one shot deals. Like we
you fuck it up and you're fucked.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too was just like doing a lot of pre-production and testing, before the shoot days, and just kind of dialing a lot of that stuff in. And when it comes to the day, it's, like timing. And we did have to reshoot a couple of effects, but luckily we have the rot shop, which you were saying, so we had access to like space and then like some building materials and stuff, and just like a place for everyone to kind of meet and execute on this stuff.
Yeah, it's like where everything happened. It was always like, I'm going to the rot shop. We got to do it. So we were working together. We start working together right after this movie gets funded. And at that time, we're doing music stuff. And there was a week that I remember that was insane. So we were shooting a music video, and Ryan was helping with that. And we were shooting that in Chicago. And at the same time, Chicago Rot was shooting the finale, correct? In Gary?
No, we were shooting
That was a rock and roll fight.
I think that might have been the following week, but the scenes we were shooting during that were out in front of Dave's house, the cop. With
like the Joliet stuff or whatever.
No, like in Chicago, kind of during the day. It's like towards the end of the movie. I think when he gets shot, I think it was that scene.
Well, it's just crazy. Yeah,
it's just so fucking nuts.
Yeah,
like,
that shot of the guy at the end. Yeah,
like, what's happening?
It's
right
so
now,
crazy.
Dude? It's like Masters of the Universe all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're fighting for fucking souls, man. They're fighting for souls. But it was like that's the kind of production.
It was a rock battle, though. It was like
it was a rock
gnarly.
Battle. It was a rock battle. Literally,
like, that's how they battle it out. The ghouls. Well, I guess I don't know if that's just a nickname, right?
No, he's the ghoul.
He's the ghoul, but it's not like they're ghouls. Or is it?
I think it's just, it's his name, because ghoul means, I think, like creature who eats flesh. Okay. So, throughout the movie, and I think
they're just some sort of crazy, I don't know, beings or celestials or some shit.
I never really understood how to describe them. I just always thought of them as like these soul keepers who are just like balancing good and evil in some part of the universe. Like that is basically where I put them always.
Yeah, I think it's just it's like just something that's happening, and
it's just some shit that happening that you have no idea that is like always around you and affecting things.
Shit.
And like he gets like kind of brought into that world because of his mom and what happens with the guy who ultimately is one of these like dark force super beings, like hidden in plain sight. But I brought that up because it's like, how long was the production of this? Not pre or post, just like the regular production time.
Well, it was broken up into two sections. We shot for, I think, like a month and a half, kind of in the winter, like fall in the winter, and then we broke for like holiday, like winter break, New Year's. Everyone was like going home to see families, then came back. Just after that break. We ended up having to kind of, I guess we used that time to do a lot of editing and then also cut the trailer that you guys saw earlier. So it was kind of like a good natural break just to, kind of see where we're at.
Were you guys like excited to get back into it, or did you find yourselves hard to come back from a break to get back on your feet?
I think we were all really hungry to get back to it, but then also, I think we also needed to do some fundraising at that point. Just with what was left to shoot and, what we had already used, we kind of knew that we were going to be in a spot where, we just wanted to do things right. And then also try and, just do everything as best as we could. So
Right, money was super tight. You guys are like making this happen, not with like an endless supply of budget. Like you're not even really making money while you're shooting this, and that's why you're like working other jobs and doing stuff, but you're still trying to get it done, which means you have these crazy schedules where you're coming like and shooting all day someplace and then all night somewhere else. Like when you were on our set, it was like you were running like 18-hour days. It was like that was insane. And you were in charge of our set too, so it wasn't like you had like a little fucking job. Like you were fucking doing everything on that.
Yeah, those were so like that was kind of the story with a lot of people. It wasn't just me. Like a lot of people had outside jobs. Like this is very much like a passion project. So no one was getting paid. So like when you're there, it's like you really want to be there.
Yeah. Which is really fucking cool. Okay, so now the movie is released. We got to watch it last night. That was a fun experience. Our TV was fucked up. Ryan was very mad.
Damn.
You made a good point.
I felt so bad though. It was like,
I mean, Ryan,
you want to see it at its full potential, and then if it's like being streamed through an app and recompressed, and the TV settings are off, and all,
yeah, well, Ryan's job in the movie is to make it the lighting camera look really good, and if we can't see that, then that's hard.
Yep.
But during the film, what was your what are you most proud of in terms of your favorite shot? Like this is the shot that makes me happy the most, or something that you lit where you're like, I did a fucking sick job on this. I killed this.
Yeah,
like,
what are you proud of,
What are you
Ryan?
proud of when you pull away from
proud
this?
of in this
I
movie?
think honestly, just kind of doing it. I feel like every day for me was almost like that, just because there was a lot of unique situations, or just like what we were capturing. I mean, probably the Lakeshore Drive was. I mean, like as far as like end product, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like how that doesn't. I don't know. Like cool. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that again, or like something like that.
Yeah.
It's like performance on a moving car on like a major
nuts.
road. But I think every day just kind of brought a lot of that, and just I think a lot of the crazy makeup effects too. I guess that wasn't even me. I guess I'm just naming stuff that's not camera.
But what about it? Is like the actors are all hanging around with fucking tree branches hanging off their heads, and you're just like, all right, guys, from the top.
I guess. I guess that scene, the ending finale, where you can kind of see bits and pieces there, where we were able to work with Steve Kasica, who's like a live like lighting designer. So he was able to help us get like a lot of the moving fixtures to kind of get like the kind of like rock show or like supernatural kind of like lighting when they have this rock battle.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man.
I think that was like unlike any other shoot day, just because you're working with a person who I guess is really helping you control the look like dynamically, like as you're going. I mean, we were able to like kind of just like make calls or audibles right there, where he was able to make reactive things in the scene with the lighting, like as we were rehearsing, and able to kind of like dial in the look. So that was maybe just for like creating standpoint, that was like really cool. I never really got to do anything like that.
Okay. So how, Dakota, now our viewing experience, let's talk about what it was like to watch this movie. For me, I've seen this a bunch of times. It's always crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
I
always
definitely
crazy.
feel like I would need to see it again. I mean, there's obvious twists, and there's maybe some moments I don't feel like I may have just digested quite properly, just because maybe I was out of the moment for a second. For example, like that Chicago friend, the drag queen looking person, or whatever. Like
JoJo Baby.
What was their? Who were they in the movie?
You want to explain JoJo Baby in this movie?
JoJo's kind of JoJo. I think he's like sort of the gatekeeper, or maybe just I'm not even. I don't know if it's the right word, but kind of just like a person kind of in another person kind of in the way that has both feet in the supernatural and natural world.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe like another person who's kind of living among everyone, who's kind of in on the.
All right.
Yeah, I've always seen it as like a gatekeeper, but like somebody who's not is also kind of has the ability to just like help you or not, and has the ability to like show you a path. And with him wants to help him and like gets him to where he needs to go, even though he knows it's gonna be like super fucked up and weird.
So my experience watching, I guess, it's like I'm into it, I'm watching, and you know, you get the there's stuff that says that this is obviously not like some crazy high tier Hollywood movie, you know, whether it be a dash of awkward acting or an awkward just hold or some still or whatever. There's moments like that, but then there'd be moments that just like really catch me off guard. There's a lot of quick hitting scenes, a lot of quick transitions. I remember one of the first scenes was someone with a bright ass white light that I was like, God damn it. Like they did the relic moment and all of a sudden the whole screen went white and it was like totally caught me off guard. When they're in the van with him and he's filming and then they fire the shot fire was mega intense and rad. I love that.
That scene is just awesome.
Yeah, right? So there was definitely a lot. But, you know, at the same time, I'm sitting there and I'm trying not to let my brain race. I'm like, that van is awfully still for running down the freeway or whatever. You know,
how did you guys shoot that? Was that moving or not?
We shot, I guess, the interiors, I think, was pretty much all stationary.
Yeah.
I think we were shaking the car, but I don't know if it.
That's the thing is I'll sit there, I'm like, that van looks like it's being shaken like this for being driving. But it's like, I'm only like thinking way too hard about that kind of stuff. But then something will happen and it just be like, whoa, what the fuck? And I'll be like entranced once more.
Yeah, I think for me, that's what's so cool about this movie is it's not a big budget. This is real indie filmmakers trying to do something totally different and doing it all themselves so that they can do it their way, which I think is really cool and why it's important to support people like this and why I wanted to have you on the show is because
they definitely bring a lot of crazy things, and I don't mean to cut you off, and like crazy new ideas and visuals that you will not see in some of these huge movies that it's like, oh, that's awesome. The young blood has all these cool new ideas that if they get to make it, you know, we're going to be seeing some epic shit to come.
100%.
For just as many things I'm here, I'm like, oh, that's, you know, amateur or something like that. There would be many things that I'd be like, this is awesome and something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I think some people might be challenged by watching this because it's not you can't it doesn't really follow a structure that you're used to, like, or a genre that you're used to.
But we're of a generation where we're trying to break past that, you know. It's not like movies are all happening through HBO or going straight to theater. You know, we have Netflix now and all these new people getting involved in giving these movie companies or whatever, these other movies, opportunities that they couldn't have before. So I think we need to just embrace these kind of new projects and stuff because we're just going to be seeing a lot more of them.
Yeah, dude, support your local filmmakers. All right,
support your local game. Support your local filmmaker.
Locals are important for video games
everything.
And for films. It is that grassroots culture that is going to do really cool stuff. There's tons of cool theaters around here. Even that theater in Claremont we go to, they show super low budget independent movies all the time. In Chicago, like you guys played at the Music Box Theater, which is an awesome theater in Chicago if you're around there to watch cool shit that you're not going to be able to watch at other places. So find somewhere in your area that is showing local shit or independent movies or foreign films, whatever, stuff that you're not just going to be able to find, and you can really open the doors and find new stuff that's going to like change the way you think about film and movies and kind of like entertainment in general.
Yeah, you may get it on the first or one of the early beginnings of the potential Tomorrowland directors and filmmakers who are going to be releasing Oscar winners, and you were like, I was there and I saw Chicago Rot.
I remember Rayan Berena. That's the boy's name.
It's not Ron.
Brian Berena. So, all right, you guys released the movie. It comes out. You had a huge opening in Chicago when you premiered it, which I missed because I'm a bad friend and a bad person. I think actually it was during TI or something. It was something that I literally couldn't miss, but I feel awful for it. I want to talk about at the post-release stuff. So first off, post-production on this movie lasted a very long time. It was very complicated. You had to bring in a lot of people, ask for a lot of help from people all over the world. Dorian recruited like VFX artists literally from around the world that he was like working with. I was one of them to kind of like put everything together. Do all the touch-up, all the cleanup, all the effects that have to go into this movie had to be done. And with very little budget to spare, it was a lot of work to just make it happen. So that process goes on for a long time. Felt like at a couple of points like, is this movie going to get done? Like, what's gonna happen? How are they gonna have to get more money? Like, what was the post-production process like for you? And like, how did was that stressful? Was that like cool? I mean, how much of a part? I know you like co-edited the film as well. So like, talk a little bit about the post-production process.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was I guess initially cutting the film, which took a while, which Dorian and I spent, like as soon as we wrapped, that was kind of like our, everyday thing of just kind of like really trying to.
So you wrapped and you just got right into it. You didn't want to take like a month, a week, anything like that.
No, I think because we had that break in the middle of shooting, and I think this like a lot of the stuff that we were shooting was really gonna make I think the film more complete. I don't know. It was just filmmaking, I guess, is exciting for me.
You just had to drive. You just had to drive. You're just like, okay,
was
we're done. The idea's still there and it's fresh. Let's just go to the computers and get to work. Dump that shit. Dump. Let's start the cut.
Yeah, and we had been kind of like cutting and doing like little assemblies as we went along. Just maybe even just like if we're gonna check to transition and do like a different scene, I guess just cross-referencing some of that stuff. But like Dan said, just the visual effects part was pretty huge, and Dorian was played a big part in just trying to find like the groups of artists who could work on this, because a lot of what we shot was or what ended up in the final film. I mean, there were hundreds. I guess I'm not even sure, but
outsourced.
It was a couple hundred
Outsourced
VFX shots. Yeah. And there's a lot of quick cuts, so like for every one of those, it's like
you got to do something.
I mean, we're always hanging out after the credits now for these crazy ass films, and their visual effects assistance is mind boggling.
Yeah.
And I know this process for this film is like a fragment in the eye of a film like that, but this still had a lot of visuals to it, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys had a fleet of people on the outside.
And even cleanup stuff, it's like, oh, there's a reflection of a camera in a scene, we got to take that out. Oh, we got to change this sign to be something else. Like things that you don't even notice that are just like
totally
things
take
you have
for
to
granted
do.
if you're just watching it.
It's crazy. So post-production finally finishes. Holy shit, Rot is gonna come out. Oh my god, I remember how crazy that was. It was years. It was like 4 years of like. You started that to finish. How long was the entire process? I want to say 4 years, but I feel like I might have made that up.
See, I think we wrapped shooting like 2013, 2014, and then released 2016. So like, yeah.
Pretty crazy long time.
That's crazy.
Did you get the music box opening, and then you guys start going to film festivals, which is super cool. And we have a couple of photos of you guys at some of your first ones, which is great. Look at those.
Ooh.
She's amazing. You'll recognize from the movie. That is Shira, yeah.
Barber, Dave Cartwright.
Look at Ryan over there, styling out.
Crew that made it out.
So what was that like to be recognized? So this is at FlyQuest?
FilmQuest.
FilmQuest? FlyQuest is FlyQuest is an esports team. So you guys get 8 nods. Look how Sam looks so thin there. What was that like?
I guess it was just cool. I guess this was really my first experience at a festival like this, and then just having like a film recognized. So I think it was just really cool, and just cool to see like other genre filmmakers. So this was also a genre film festival, so there was like a lot of filmmakers that I think we had a lot in common. So just to be like recognized, selected, and then just like being around like a lot of those people, I think is just like a really cool experience.
Was this the first time you made something and it was played like in a movie theater, like on the big screen and all that?
I think maybe like a short or like one of our docs. And then I guess we've also, I think we had contributing footage.
Yeah, we had contributing footage in that.
I mean, did you have a thrill from that, like from that first experience when you're just like, ooh, it's on the big one?
Yeah, I think anytime, it's just like, I don't know. I'm like a film, I guess, nerd myself, or just like a fan. So like anytime, like if you have that opportunity, just like see your stuff like all blown up, I think it's
God. This
cool.
Shit is just so wild here. The pictures they're putting up of the people of the Guardians of the
So that's what they've been doing now. So those are like the Hubcap men. That is like Brant and Dorian and a couple other friends, and they're going to all these cons now dressed as the Hubcap man, as like a cool kind of like promotion to get like some attention about Chicago Rot.
Even after,
like so that was like C2E2 this year.
You guys don't know about Chicago Rot? well, I'm a hipster, and I was in on it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's sick.
That's cool.
It's sick, and all that shit is really, really cool. So that's Chicago Rot. What are you guys gonna do next? Is there any plans from Dorian? I've heard whisperings of stuff. I don't want you to talk about anything.
Sequel
about that.
or
Oh, no.
the cycle continues, or is there just something entirely new?
Is this team ever gonna reassemble?
I mean, I guess I don't think we ever really separated, but yeah, hopefully. I know that there's some ideas, but I really plan on making films with all these people again. So
yeah, they're dope people, dude. I loved working with them. It was so cool to even be the teeny part of the project that I got to be, because I feel like it was an awesome moment in like Chicago film history where it was like this group of guys, and because everybody was talking about it. If you were a filmer in Chicago, you knew Chicago Rot was being made. It's like
I bet. God damn, Chicago people love to talk about Chicago. What's happening in Chicago? Oh, you fucking loopity-doo for Chicago. Don't you fucking know? And I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Hey, it's the best.
I can't wait to go to Chicago.
Yeah,
you're
Chicago
coming
finally.
soon,
You
going
dork.
For Combo Breaker. I can't wait to see what it's all
Watch,
about.
you're never gonna leave. You're never gonna leave.
And one bite of that deep dish shit, and we'll go. Just kidding.
I guess, is there anything else you wanted to talk about from this process?
Yeah.
What is it like now after the fact? Dust has settled. The movie's out. You've
Being
done the
a
film festival
DP
circuit. You guys
is
won Best Thriller at Nightmare Fest. What was it? Another genre festival.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. And you also got nominated for Best Actor. I think it was Brandt maybe as well. Or was it Shira? I don't know. I think it was Brandt.
I think they've
maybe both
gotten nominated in other things.
Yeah, and other things. But yeah, you've had several. What is it like now? Where you're helping us. You're doing Summit things.
I don't know. I'm stoked that you guys want to do this podcast. So I guess it's really just kind of like spreading the word, or I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, the dozens of people listening right now. Get out there. Watch Chicago Rot. No, I'm just kidding.
What a dick.
There are lots of surprisingly, there's a good turnout of movie enthusiasts who listen in, even if it's just like the 5 people. I think.
Yeah, no, we have a hardcore group of guys who are willing to watch kind of more fringe genre films like this that I think they're going to really enjoy it, I think. So I hope everybody does. If you're listening, check out Chicago Rot. You can get it on Steam, YouTube, Google Play,
I think by
Amazon.
the surface, and maybe a judgment I may have made when you see a movie like this and it's not like, one of the big movies or whatever, and you just see how violent. It's not just something that like, oh, they just made a super gory, violent movie to try to get extra attention on the movie because it's not a big blockbuster. But it's not like that at all. It's a movie that, again, you're just going to see has the ability to kind of push the bounds, push into crazy genres, and just do new ideas that you're not going to get to see by paying $1,000 to go into the movie theater and see it, on the big screen.
Yeah, I think that they had to work with these crazy limitations of having almost no money, getting everybody and their cousin to give them favors and help because all these people wanted to see this happen, to make a film that was their own, that could be what they wanted it to be, and that's why I think it's so cool. And I still can't believe how young you were. 23, dude.
Yeah, it must be crazy.
When I was 23, you were peeling me off the floor every Sunday morning. I just was not a human being. I couldn't have done this. What the fuck?
I don't know. I think it just I don't know. If there's one thing I took away, it's just I don't know, ask for it or just go after it.
I will ask, because I think this was something Jamar Luna had brought up about his experience when he was working on a movie. And it's such a huge time investment. When it's over, did you have withdrawals at all? Just okay, it's done. I don't have to give my life into this movie anymore. What's next, or something like that. I know you and your crew are still tight, and can hang out and stuff. But did you still feel any sense of it's over? Yeah,
for sure. And it's just after you go into battle with a bunch of people like that, and you're so used to seeing each other every day, it's just and then once it settles down, you're just huh.
Yeah, that must feel I've done productions and shows that only lasted maybe a month and 4 weekends, and when that's over, I felt like we were a bit of a family almost, and then we went our separate ways. I mean,
even a Summit, dude.
Yeah, 1 weekend. So 4 years of investment time between jumping into the project to when you get to all watch together. That's just gnarly. Something I don't know if I'll ever get to experience in my own lifetime. So that's cool to hear. Rad, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I guess We've gotten together on other projects and shorts and stuff like that. So
cool.
But hopefully a feature soon.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Otherwise, we can just don't do features. Keep coming out to summits.
Yeah, do dorky meme material with us.
Make memes, good-looking memes.
Takes one day turnaround.
Dude, if you guys tuned into Smash Summit 6, you'll have noticed a considerable bump in production quality, and that was all Ryan Berena along with Andrew, but a big kick in the pants from him.
First time we had like 2 video crews for
2 units.
I mean, it was a huge hurdle just to do a media day and then film stuff on media day only, really, and get everything done from there. And now to have like 2 film crews potentially, like, that just seems ridiculous. We're gonna have to cut it back.
2 media days coming soon, dude. 2 media days coming soon,
dude.
Yeah.
If we get to that
twice
point,
the content.
That's gonna be crazy.
All right, I'm ready to
wrap.
Well, thanks, Ryan.
I'm
so happy we gotta fucking do this, dude.
Man.
It's so crazy for me. You don't understand, like, how many key points in my life this movie, like, kind of was a part of. Like, when we first met, and our relationship. Like, when we first met, I was living in Lincoln Park with like 8 dudes and like 2 girls in this like ridiculous place, working and living out of there. And Ryan kind of came in my life, and this kind of came in my life. And then we went into another office, and all this other stuff happened, and all these checkpoints. And now we're at this point where now I live in California. I'm going to be on the summit, and now we're doing a podcast reflecting on the process of Chicago Rot. It's just so cool to me this is happening.
Yeah.
And I want to give huge shout-outs to Dorian and Brant and Sam and everybody who helped with this project, because they're all killers, and they're all super awesome people, and they worked really, really hard to make this happen. So I'm happy that we got to show some people this project, and I hope you check it out, and you can appreciate
Chicago
it like
Rot.
we did.
Guys, if you haven't seen it and you're a film enthusiast, check it out. If you want to be a DP, check it out. If you're from Chicago, you've probably already seen it. Right? But if you're from Chicago and you haven't seen it, or you're planning on moving there, you better see it, I guess. Otherwise, the people are going to shun you into the streets.
Yeah.
So awesome stuff. Thanks for hanging out. If you have further questions for us, for Ryan, for anything Chicago Rot, hit us up on the Discord, BTS Discord. It's discord.gg/BTS. Real easy code to remember. And come hang out. We're talking about everything movie buff, what movies we're going to be moving into in the future, and all of our other shows and stuff. Check out all the merch that we have in our stores. The Summit of Power merch has just opened. You can go check it out at smash.gg/SOP. They're getting votes and selling merch to put together our next new hype squad that's going to be at the house for a new Summit event. I don't know if Ryan's going to be joining us for that one, but if he is, I'm sure the production's going to be out of control. So hype times, everybody. Take care. We'll catch you on the next podcast. Be well.
He's got, wait, hold on. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just running on
No,
forward.
it's too much pressure.
Okay.
All right, shit.
Get out of here.
You're
All right.
done.
Well, also,
shout out everyone.
Yeah, shout out everyone.
Everyone.
Jeremy?
Rock
Especially
crew.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't say his name. I should have. Sorry. Jeremy's a god. He also starred in this movie as well. Another guy who did like fucking 90 things. Bunch of legends. All right. Sorry. I fucked up the outro. Bye.
Bye.